Let me share my screen. Okay, in the last class, that means on 15th. Okay, we discussed about transformations. We started transformations topic. Okay, in transformations, we discussed about appending. Appending is a concept of adding rows from different tables or queries. Okay, then we discussed about merging. Sorry. Merging is concept of adding columns from different tables or queries. So hope both concepts are clear. Divya, are you able to go through the videos?
This video I did not go, like on Sunday's video. I need to go through that video.
Okay, no worries. So these are the two different concepts. So if you miss last class also, like it won't impact on the today's subject. But just I suggest you to go through because I give 3 tasks. Hope Sandeep, you received the task, right? Hope you both received the task.
Yes, yes, Abhinav, I received task and I did as well. I have few queries.
Uh-huh.
I will ask.
Okay,
I will
that
ask you once.
I suggest Divya also to go through the videos, and then we will discuss about the task tomorrow, and we'll continue with the class today. And once Divya also go through the videos, then we can discuss all the tasks tomorrow. And I suggest you both to just like if you didn't go through the task, just go through the tasks as well, and be ready tomorrow to ask the questions and check the tasks. Okay, so these are the last class topics, and today we are going further in the transformations, and we are going to discuss individual transformations. Okay, so now we are in the transformations. Right. So these are the topics here we discussed in the last class: merge queries and append queries. So these are the things. So I left few joins for you to understand. If you face any issues of understanding like what's happening with the other type of joinings, then we can discuss also. But I like first request to just go through yourself. If you still have some questions, then I'll discuss tomorrow. Okay, right. Let me load data again. Okay, so we just ignore about the AI insights. We don't need these things. This is a different topic related to AI, but we don't need. So we are going to transformations. So in the transformations, first let me explain you which type of transformations we have, and we'll go through one by one. So transformations, by the name itself, we can understand we are going to transform something. Okay. So transforming the columns, transforming the rows, transforming the tables. Okay. We change the data according to our wish. Like however we want to change, we can change using the transformations. Okay. So first of all, you see here, we have table transformations. Using these table transformations, we can transform or we can change a table. Okay, entire table. And then we have any column transformation. Any column means we can apply these transformations on any column, irrespective of the type. So either it is a decimal type or it is a like date type or text type, whatever the type is, we can apply these transformations to any column. Okay. Then we have next set of transformations here. That is the text column transformations. So by the name itself, we can understand we can apply these transformations only on text column. Only on text column. We cannot apply on any other column. Okay. Then we have number column transformations. So these are all related to numbers like summation, aggregations, different type of number aggregations. And then we have date. Okay, here we can extract the date, year, months, and different type of time, hours, and these things. And we ignore the scripts. If you know about Python and R, you can write the scripts. Okay, so these are different. So the major part is from table and to date and time column transformation. So these are the transformations we are going to discuss one by one. Okay, so today we will start with the table transformations. How can we modify a table using the table transformations, and what are the different type of use cases? Okay, so this is what we are going to discuss. Okay, so the first one in the table transformations. So let me write today's topic. Okay, table transformations. So the first one is group by. So what group by does? So but the name itself, we can understand it groups the data. It groups the data. So if we have data on very detailed level, let's say, let me give you a best example. If we have some details, like some data on a day level, let's say some transactions are happening each and every day. Here also, for example, we have invoice date. Yeah, here. So this is like day-wise transactions each and every day. Right? You can see the date. So these are happening different days. But user wants to see only month level data. User don't want day level. Okay. User don't want too much detailed day level. User just wants to see month level data. So instead of having each and every row for the days, we can have month level data. Okay. We don't need each and every day. We need just month level data. So we can group this data by month. Okay, we can group this data by months. So that is grouping. Or we can group based on, let's say here, based on the customers, based on, so whatever we want. Okay, let me show you an example. Okay, first of all, I will bring the customers into my main fact table. So I will duplicate this table. So invoice processing 2. So I'm going to bring my customer name. Here I have customer ID. I want to bring customer name from here. Okay. So here the columns are not detected. I'm using use first row as column and the columns are detected. So this we are going to discuss anyway, no problem. Okay, now I need to join customer ID, and with this customer ID to get the customer name column into this table. Okay, this is merging. This we discussed in the last class. Okay, I will use merging and I'm going to join customer ID with the customer ID. So these two will join, and then I want customer name. Okay, customer name is in the customers table. Now I'm bringing it to invoice processing. Okay, I got the customer name. Okay, so now I want to see customer wise goods quantity. Customer wise goods quantity. Just customer wise good quantity. I don't want to see any other details. I just want to see customer wise goods quantity. Okay, so I can simply remove all other columns except customer and goods quantity. Let's say except customer and goods quantity. I am removing other columns. So now I have the desired output, customer and goods quantity. But if you see here, the same customer is repeating. See, this is some ThyssenKrupp and Equinor, Novartis. So this is repeating each and every time with the different quantities. Why this was happened? Because of date, because of some different dates. So each quantity they purchased on different date. So here you see invoice date and so the quantity is 26. So whenever we have the detailed level of data, the day level of data, so this is meaningful that on different date we have different quantity. But when we don't have the data, like the detailed level of data, like dates and all, then we don't need repeated rows, right? We don't need this repeated rows. We just need one row for one customer and the total quantity. Okay. Now, how I can do that? How to group these all customers together is using these table transformations. So if I click on group by, so it will ask here, so which column you want to use. So there are two sections here. The first section is the columns and next section is the aggregations. Okay, the first section here, this box is for the columns. So which columns you want to group by, and which columns you want to aggregate. So see here, just understand what I'm trying to do. Here, this customer, he's having 26 and the same customer is having 40. I don't need these many rows for this customer. I just need one row for this customer and entire goods quantity will be like summed up. Okay, like 26, 40, 66 and these 190 and like this. So entire quantity need to be summed up, and I want only one customer name. Okay, one row for customer name. So what I'm going to do here, so here in the group, I'm going to select customer name. So this is what I want to see. And I want sum of quantity. So this is the column name. You can give anything, no problem. You can give simply like quantity. And here the operation we need to choose. I can choose sum, average, whatever I want. So I'm choosing sum, but which column you want to sum? This or this?
Goods quantity.
Exactly.
Goods quantity.
I need to select goods quantity. And now what it is going to do? It is going to group all this quantity, and it is going to sum all this quantity based on the customer. Okay, now let's see what happens. So now see here, the customer pheasant group, this is having 3094 quantity, and there is no other row for that customer. And Equinor, you see only one customer, only one type. There is no repeated rows for Equinor.
We have two columns earlier, right? And this should be a third column, right?
Yeah, but when we group, it is table transformation. So it changes entire table. We are not adding a new column. We are just transforming the entire table.
Okay, got it.
So let me go back here one more time. So this is the table, the previous table, and we are doing now table transformations. Whatever the table transformations we apply, it changes entire table. So it is not going to add a new column, but it is going to, the group the rows. The concept here, grouping concept, is to reduce the number of rows. We are grouping because we want to reduce the rows. We don't want this customer to be repeated these many times. Okay, just one row per customer, and all the goods quantity needs to be summed up. That is the requirement. Then when we group this, what happened? These customers will be grouped, and then we are just summing the quantity. So this is what we are doing. Let me just put it on the paint. So this is the actual data, and this is the group data. So now see here. All this customer, same customer. This is only one customer. So this is grouped into just one row. Okay. And what happens with this goods quantity? All this goods quantity related to this customer is summed up here. Okay, this is what happened. This is what is grouping. So it is grouping based on the customer name. Okay, so indirectly what it is doing, it's reducing the number of rows. Instead of having like here 9 rows, we are just having 1 row. Okay, and the quantity is summed up. So this is grouping. So we can add, let's say we can add more columns as well. Here, let's say I can go to group settings here, the step settings. And if I want to add one more column, I need to go to advanced, because in basic step, you can see only one group and one aggregation. If you want to add more aggregations, see, I want to see, let's say, number of invoices. Here I'm seeing goods quantity, it's fine, but I want to see how many number of invoices summing up to this quantity. to get this quantity, how many invoices I added. So there are like here, for example, 9 invoices. And if I go down, maybe some more invoices. I don't know where they are. Okay, all together, this is the total quantity. So I want to see number of invoices. So I can go here and I can click on advanced and I add one more aggregation. And this is like number of invoices. And here I'm using count rows because each row is one invoice, right? Each row is one invoice. So it's going to count the rows. I don't need any column because rows are related to entire table. So, okay. And you can see here. So this customer is having 31 invoices in total. And the quantity of orders is 3094. Okay. So this is the new aggregation. You can add many aggregations you want. For example, average quantity. Average quantity. You can select average and here goods quantity. So it is going to give one more column, that's average quantity. So these are all the aggregations, 1, 2, 3, and this is the group. Okay. So here you can add more groupings also. If you want, you can add more grouping also. Currently we are using customer, right? So we can use something more. For example, I will go here, the previous step. I have customer, let's say, let us add country also. Okay. So I'm going to join one more time. I'm going to bring countries because countries are here. So countries are in the not correct form. I'm going to just transpose. I'll discuss about this, no worries. So I made this table correct. Now I'm going to see, don't confuse here. I'm going to the previous step. How I'm getting the data here, I'm going to the previous step. So previous step will contain the original data. Previous steps. Later on, I transformed. Here I remove the columns, here I group the rows. But if I go back to the previous steps, I will see the actual data. Okay, so this is my actual data. Here I have country code, and here in this table I have country code. If I want to bring this column to here, I need to merge again. Okay, so here I'm going to merge one more time. So country code, and I'm going to take countries from the country code. So these two columns will join, and I will get country name from countries table to invoice processing. So I want only country name. Done. Okay, now I got country name. So I don't want to remove any column. Like without removing also we can just group. Okay, no need of removing, because why I removed, because just to show you like the customer only. Okay, I wanted to show you the data clearly. So what's happening with this data? But if I don't remove the columns also, it will still work. The group by function will still work. Okay. So we can just group based on whatever the column we want, and it will transform the entire table. See, this is my original table, which is having country code, customer ID, paperless data, and a lot of other columns. But when I group, so this is the final table. I don't see any other columns except whatever I'm mentioning in the group. So I'm mentioning only customer name here. So that's why my output is having only customer name. And I'm doing 3 aggregations. One is quantity. I have quantity column. One is number of invoices, this one, and one is average quantity. So these are the only columns will be there in the table. So I can just group. So I can just select country, average quantity, number of invoices, this one, and one is average quantity. So these are the only columns will be there in the table. So I can just group. So I can just select country, average quantity, number of invoices, this one, and one is average quantity. So these are the only columns will be present in the output. Okay. And now, as I said, like along with the customer name, I want to add one more grouping, that is country. So country name, I'll just remove the customer first to make you, clear what happens. Now I'm taking only country name. I'm not going to take customer name. I'm just taking the country name. So I will get the same quantity, number of invoices, average quantity, everything for the countries, not for the customers. Okay. So I have only 5 countries. So for these 5 countries, I'm getting 5 rows. Okay, France, this is the total quantity, and Germany, this is the total quantity, and the number of invoices and average quantity. Okay, we have only 5 countries. Now, entire data, which is having more than thousands of rows, now converted into just 5 rows. Okay, just 5 rows. This is the advantage of grouping. We can convert n number of rows into the very less rows. But if this is the only requirement, then you can do. If you want any other columns, then you cannot do grouping. Okay, grouping only as it transforms entire table, you cannot do it on entire data. So you need to see the requirement. What is the requirement? I only need data on a country level, then you can do. If you need data on each and every detail level, then you don't need to do group by. Okay. So this is based on country. I can add one more grouping here. So let's say customer name. So now I am going to add 2 base columns, 2 groupings. One is country and one is customer. See, France and customer name, and this is the quantity, and number of invoices and average quantity. So I'm getting now country, customer, and quantity. Total number of rows, I think, more than 100. Yeah, around 100, because each country has different customers. Now we are getting quantity and number of invoices for country and customers. Likewise, we can add as many as groups here, as many as groups, and different aggregations. You see, we can use sum, average, median, min, these all things, and you can also use all rows. This all rows means you don't do any aggregation. Just take rows as it is. Okay. All rows means you are not doing any aggregation. You are just taking all the rows, each and every row. Okay. But most of the times when we are grouping, we use any one of these aggregations. We don't take all rows because there is no point of taking all rows. Instead of taking all rows, you can simply delete the other columns, because all rows is not going to reduce your rows. Okay, it's not going to reduce your rows. So what is the point of grouping? Right? So we are doing grouping to reduce the number of rows. Okay. So this is grouping. I will show you one more example with dates. Let's say this is the date. Okay, let me back here. Yes. And I'm going to get some years and months from this date. I'm going to get here. Don't worry, we'll discuss these transformations later. Okay, now my data is on a date level each and every day. You see here, I have entire data based on invoice date. I don't want date level, I just want month level data. Okay, I don't want day level, I just want month level data. That means I need to take just instead of let's say 2000 here, 2019, you can see one example here. Now let me arrange it in the ascending order. Yeah, you see here on the same date, in the same month, the first month of 2019, there are a lot of transactions each and every day. Third day, fourth day, fifth day, sixth day, seventh day, like this. Each and every day there are transactions. So we can just count here, for example, on the first month of 2019, there are 90 transactions till here. So instead of this 90, user don't want to see on a date level, user just wants to see month level. So instead of this 90, I can get only one row because I am going to take month. I'm not going to take date. Okay, I can group based on month. So I will add grouping here. I can just move these groups also, like from here to here. So let's say I want year and month. Okay. Let me do it here. Year and month. I will delete these two. Okay. And I need everything like this. You see? Now it is reduced to 24 rows. Just 24 rows. Instead of more than 1000 rows, now I just have 24 rows. Because only 2 years data was there in data, 2019 and 2020. So each month, one row, right? Because we are considering month level data. Each month, one row. That means 1 year, 12 rows. And another year, 12 rows. We'll have just 24 years of, so 24 rows of data. You may think like we are losing other columns, all the other needed columns, but we can add all other columns in the groupings. Okay, so whatever the column you need, you can add the dates, other dates, and this. So we can add everything, and it may increase the number of rows because according with, I mean, along with these two columns, you are also considering different columns, so that may increase the rows, number of rows. But if it is the requirement, then yes, you need to take all the columns. But basic grouping is this. So you can group entire data based on specific columns. Okay, is there any doubt in the grouping?
I'm
No.
good. Vinay.
Okay. Now I'm going to ask you one small question. I have, let's say I have 2,400 rows. Rows of data. If I merge this data, this is, let's say, 1 year data. Okay, 1 year data. Only 1 year. If I merge this data, sorry, if I group this data on a day level, how many rows I will get in the output? If I group this on a day level, I mean date level, each and every date.
For each and every date, we will get 365 plus 365. And for year wise
Are you on
means
year?
we'll be getting.
Yeah, if we consider day level, we are going to get.
If we consider year wise, if we
Mhm.
consider year wise, it should be getting one year means 24 rows. 12, 12, 24.
Okay, so now let's understand here. So you are thinking is correct, but in 1 year you will have, if you take dates, you will have 365 days, only 365. Okay, so if you consider
Yes.
day level, then you will get 365 rows. Okay, because
Yes.
each day one row, that means maximum you will get 365 rows. That's the maximum. And if you consider month level, there are only 12 months in 1 year, so you will get 12
12
rows.
rows.
And if you get year level, there is only 1 year, and you are going to get only 1 row.
One row.
Okay, 1 row. So this is how, when you do grouping, so this is how the data transforms. Even though here, let's say you have like 24 lakhs rows or something like 2.4 billions or how many rows, if you group them based on the dates, this is what you're going to get. Okay, so whenever, like when I was taking one interview, they asked the same question. I was confused initially, like it's been a long time. He gave me like 1.2 million of rows, and when he said like we have 2 years of data, if we take month level, then how many rows I'm going to get? And then everyone think, okay, this is 2 million, maybe it is going to reduce to like 1 million, or maybe it is going to reduce thousands and something. But if you think logically, irrespective of number of rows, if you group month level, then in 2 years, one year 12 months and another year 12 months, the maximum you will get 24. Okay, so that is how we need to think. So grouping reduces the number of rows irrespective of the rows. Okay, so the major purpose of grouping is to reduce the number of rows. Okay, this will help us in a lot of things, to reduce the size of the model, right? See here, how many rows we are having before? Almost like more than thousands, 3,000, 4,000, I don't know how many are. Now they are reduced to just 24. That means the size is almost reduced 10 times, from 2,000 rows to 24, like 100 times. So This is going to save our storage space and the size and many things. But the main thing is, if you don't need any other columns, then it is fine. But if you need other columns, you don't need, you cannot do group by. If you don't need any other columns, let's say there are a lot of other columns, customer invoice, not goods quantity, disputes settled, and this and that, and there are many other things. If you don't need them, then it is fine. Even though if you need them, you can add in the groups. Let's say here you can add them in the groups, disputes and all. This is going to increase the number of rows, but not much, because anyways you are taking only month level data. So it's going to reduce the number of rows for sure, because previously it was day level. Now we are considering month level. So it will reduce the rows for sure. Okay, that is the concept. So grouping reduces the number of rows. Okay, so the points to remember in grouping. Group by. This is the functionality. Okay, so the points to remember. This function reduces the number of rows. Then here we have two sections. One is group by section, and second one is aggregations. Okay, so here these are the two sections. This is first section, the group by rows, group by columns. So which columns you want to group by, and which columns you need to consider in the aggregations. Okay, this is the aggregation section and this is the group section. Okay, aggregation section. And in basic group by, you can do only one group and one aggregation. In advanced, you can do n groups and n aggregations. N means like more, n number of, right? So this is the basic. You can do only one grouping and one aggregation. But if you click on advanced, you can add as many as groupings and as many as aggregations. Hope it is clear.
Yes, Abhinav.
Yes.
Okay. So one more important point to consider: when you are grouping, you will lose all the columns which you are not using in the grouping. Okay, see here, this is my original table, which is having lot of different columns like disputed, settle date, paperless bill, these all things. But when I group, I don't see any other columns because I'm not using them in the group. I'm not adding them in the group. Okay, so this is very important. If you are doing grouping, if you don't consider the columns, they won't appear. If you don't need, if you don't want to use them, it's fine. But if you want to use them, then you must add in the group. Otherwise, you will lose the columns. Okay, this is the important thing. Right. So that's about grouping, and we are going forward. If you have any questions, just ask me. Otherwise, I'm moving to the next one. Okay, let's move to the next one. Use first row as headers. So this one, we touched it few classes in different classes. Even in the last class also we touched it. So this is very simple. Let me take an example. So when I loaded customers, the table was like this. This is my column name, customer ID and customer name. This is my column name, but this is not recognized here. This is not recognized here. So in order to make the first row as my column name, so put customer ID here and put customer name here. So this is the function we are going to use. Use first row as headers. So this is the first row. Use this as headers. If I click here, this is going to put, see what happened? The customer ID was there in the first row, and now it is in the headers. And customer name also here, and now it is in the headers. So it will just move to the top. And if we do it one more time, and this first row will come here. So let's say, see, now the Equinor came here. Now this came here. Like we can do as many as times. How many times you do this? That many times it will, push your first row to the headers. But we don't need this many times. This is a desired output. Okay. To detect the headers for the column, we use this. And we don't need this in the databases because I told you the databases already, comes with predefined column names. All the databases already configured with the proper column names and everything. You don't need to detect the columns or anything. But when you are dealing with the files, Excel files, CSV files, Parquet files, and there are many types of files. When you are dealing with this type of data, sometimes they will be recognized, sometimes they won't. Okay. So we need to make sure the columns are correctly configured. Okay. In the last task, in the last session, I sent you two or three tasks. In that, you will see the data. You need to clean the data. You will see the importance of this function. Okay. So I will just explain you by taking one data cleaning. Okay. So this is the data I have given you. See this data. It's completely messed up. It doesn't have any columns, proper columns. It doesn't have any proper data. But looking at this data, you will understand, okay, these are the employees and these are the emails, these are the countries, and these are the join dates. But where are the column names? Here are the column names, right? The fourth row is a column name. Employee name, email, country, join date. These all other are just not needed columns. That's extra information. These all things are extra information. Okay. So if I want to remove unwanted rows, do you remember which function? If I want to remove the, yeah, exactly. So here we use remove rows and remove how many rows I don't want. 1, 2, 3. So I can remove the 3 rows from the top, and it's going to remove all unwanted rows. Okay, now unwanted rows were removed. Now I need to recognize this column. So the column name is here in the first row. This need to go to the headers. So here I need to use first row as headers. So this first row is going to be my header. So if I click here, You see, now it is header. Okay, this is where we use headers. And here you can do opposite also. You can do in the opposite way also. Like you can put your headers in your first row. Okay, if I click, for example, use headers as first row, these headers will become your first row. See, observe here, employee name is my header. And if I click the second one, use headers as first row, this demoted. Previously, we promoted first row as header. Now we demoted, right? Headers became my first rows. Okay, this we don't use much, but this is also an option. Remember, not only promoting, but demoting also possible. Okay. Okay, I'm not going to clean all this data because this is your task. You need to do it. Okay, tomorrow for sure we are going to discuss all the tasks. Try to look into them and try to complete. If you are able to, do something, then if I explain, then you will understand. If you're not touching it, then it like no point of explaining them.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Okay. Then yeah, this is the function. Use first row as headers. This is very simple function. Hope it is clear. Just to promote your first row into headers or demote your headers to the first row. There is a function, and this happens to entire table. So you cannot do it for one column. For example, if you want only month column need to be promoted, no, you cannot do it, because all these are table transformations. Table transformation. So this applies for entire table. Okay. Next transformation. There is transpose. Transpose is one of the important transformation in table transformations. It converts all the rows into columns and columns into rows. Okay. So this is the best example which I did just before. Okay. So this is my input data. This is my input data. So customer gave us in this format. So they wrote country codes here one by one. France, Germany, Netherlands, Finland, Belgium. And each country code is in different columns like this. But if the data is stored like this in the different columns, I cannot use it because I want all the country codes in the same column. I want all the country names in the same column. Then only I can use it in any visualization easily. Right? All the country codes must be in the same like this. Country code and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All these rows should be present in the same column. And this also needs to be present in the same column. Now what happened? They are reversed. Instead of rows, they are in the columns. Different columns. Okay. I want in this format, country name and France, Germany, Netherlands, Finland, all should be in the same column. So my rows needs to be columns and my columns need to be rows. Okay. These are the different columns. You see 391, 406, 818. These all needs to go to the rows like this. 391, 406, 818, 997. These are all different columns. Now I want them in the same column. They need to go to the rows instead of columns. And the country code is in one row and country name is in one row. Instead of rows, I want them in the columns. Country code, one column, country name, one column. Okay. So transpose is going to change the the layout of this table. So this is going to transform all the columns into rows, rows into columns. So let's take this first. 1 second. Let's take this into Paint. So this is my actual table. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to click on transpose. You can select any column. It's fine because this is a table transformations. It's going to apply for entire table. Okay, when I click on transpose, now all the columns, all the different columns became rows. So what happened? Let's see. So transpose columns to rows and rows to columns. So it will just change everything. Okay, let's understand what happened here. So columns to rows. This is one column, right? See here, 391 and France, one column. What happened here? This became a row. So it is a vertical layout here and it is horizontal layout. And this is one column and it became a row here. So see, this is vertical, 818 Netherlands, and this is became a row. Same here and same here, same here and same here. Okay, so this one column to rows done. Now next, what is rows to columns? So this country code and these all country codes are in different, like these are all in one row. Okay, this is entire thing is in one row. Now what happened to this? This became one column. You're understanding? This country code 391, 406, all these things are in one row. Now they became one column. The horizontal orientation became the vertical orientation here. The country code came here, this came here, this came here. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
The transpose is going to change the orientation from vertical orientation to horizontal orientation. Or you can simply, call columns to rows and rows to columns. Okay, this will be useful when you have improper structure of your data. So this structure is not useful. That is why we converted into useful format. Okay, so that's it. Transpose is just, it converts rows to the columns and columns to the rows. That's all. No more discussion. Very simple. Okay. And now the columns are not detected. See, after converting, after transposing this, the columns are not detected yet. So I can click on here. My columns are detected. Now it is a proper table. Do you have any questions in transpose?
No, Abhinay.
Okay, great. Remember this thing, transpose converts rows into columns and columns into rows. Okay, let's first row as headers. So this is the one we discussed later. So this promotes or demotes first row, promotes first row into headers or demote headers to first rows. This is the previous function. And now transpose what it does, convert rows into columns and columns into rows. Very simple. Okay. And then we have reverse rows function. This actually we don't need to discuss about this. We are not going to use this anymore. I mean, in rare cases, even though like 100 times you do transformations, you don't even use one time, because this just reverse the rows. For example, the France is here, it will go to the last, and Belgium is